If you can take something complex and break it down into the most simplest terms, that's when you are really an expert on a subject. So that's how we approach all of this. And yeah, my mom always used to say, put the cookies on the lower shelf where everyone could grab them. And I sure appreciated that as being the youngest of 9 kids.
All right, well, welcome back to the Inside Connection podcast. I feel like it's been a little while since we've sat here, Lance. I mean, we've both been pretty busy on our different projects we've been working on, and it's kind of nice to get the dust off of these chairs and put it to use again to bring our audience back up to speed on everything we've been working on this year. It feels like we've really come a far way in a short amount of time.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a big building year for us, growing, excited to give update to everybody out there today and how they can continue to work with us and connect with us.
And I think what has always been at the forefront of how we are built DNA-wise as a company is education, right? We want to put good information in the hands of the clients we work with. We want to simplify it so that they can have confident decisions. But we're actually starting to branch out a little bit on how people can access that information. And I know you've been a prominent figure in pushing this forward a little bit. So talk a little bit about some of the things you've been working on.
Yeah, I mean, why the education piece, you know this, and people listening, is there's so much misinformation out there.
There is.
And there's a lot of over-information, right? So for us, it's always been about how can we help people understand this and get great education into their hands that they can really work with, right? So that's why we launched the radio show almost 6 years ago, where we've been putting out great content on Medicare and how it works. And then we started the seminars about 4 years ago. And just anybody that's new to Medicare in the next 12 months, right, that we're walking them through how to set a budget. Should they go on to Medicare, right? You know, what's their timelines? How do they sign up? So we've walked them through a lot of that, right? And excited here in the next month or so as the world is changing around us, right? We're going to be launching webinars, right? Because we really see the need for people to be able to access this, and everything's going more digital, right?
It really is. So the webinar, let's talk about that a little bit more, because this is something that's actually news to me, and I work here. So it's pretty cool to be able to dive into that a little bit. So we know on demand is kind of taking over, right? I mean, you get on Netflix because you want to watch a movie when you want to watch it, not have to really set aside time for when it's showing on television by the broadcaster. So we get that. It's moving in a more digital aspect. But how are we going to make that more accessible, talking about Medicare, to the people who look to engage with us?
Yeah, I think the first thing that's really important is we're pivoting not because of a lack of success around our seminars. Our seminars continue to be incredibly well attended. We just recently partnered with Allegheny Health Network, UPMC, to be doing events in their facilities, right? So that's great. And those seminars are strong. We're going to continue to do them. But we do realize that there's a real importance for ease of access. And I think you hit on it, right? Like, people are moving more where, hey, I'm my lunch break, I want to kind of delve into this and find out about this. So we're going to be adding one webinar a week here starting next month, actually in early September, and then we'll build out on it as we continue to go. But they'll be able to get great information on the process, still be able to schedule appointments, and again, walk through everything, but in a more at their fingertips option. And I think the other thing that's really important to mention is that society is moving more that way, right?
And I think that's a great point. And I don't mean to cut you off there, but I think it's a great point because, I mean, you and I have hosted many of these seminars over the last 4 or 5 years, however long we've been doing them. And again, you said it best, very well attended. But we also know that there's people who they're rushing to get there after work. They're skipping dinner. They have to move mountains in their schedule in order to be able to attend some of these events. And we're very appreciative of that. But now, like you keep talking about, now we're making it just at your fingertips. Click a couple buttons. You can get the information that we broadcast in these seminars right on your phone or laptop.
Yeah, people are getting more tech savvy, right?
Which is great.
Even as we're moving into being 65 years old, a lot of people now have had a cell phone for a number of years. They have tablets, right? Like, it's a lot easier for them to use that type of technology. So really excited to bring that offering. We really think it's going to bring a lot of flexibility. And I know this year you've been spending a lot of time really working on another part of our partnership and education process, which is MediConnect.
Yes.
What is that?
A lot of fun, really is what it is. I love it. It really is in the core and the DNA of who I am, where, the passion of Medicare Made Simple. If we could take it in communities that, first and foremost, they don't get that education often enough. They're kind of dismissed because they're not, classroom attendees, if you will. But if you go to them with the information, they will turn out. It's proven time and time again this year, and we're excited about this build out for that reason, because they're just as hungry for it. They just need it to be a little bit more accessible to them. So we're happy to take it to them as well. But I also think, through the year, we've partnered with a lot of outside organizations, other professional firms who offer areas of service that we don't specialize in. I mean, let's talk about estate planning, financial planning, tax professionals, Social Security. Like, we know these things well enough to be dangerous, but we're by no means experts. So what we're trying to do is, through this strategy, build up partnerships where, you handle your expertise, we'll come in and handle what we're good at. Let's build up a partnership so we can provide a robust client experience for each entity, so that we know that the clientele is being handled on an individual basis, the way that they should be, the way that you would want your parents to be, right?
Yeah, I remember when I used to be out in the field running a lot of appointments, I would always get questions around Social Security and when should I take it and all of these things. And I would always be like, listen, I'm a Medicare expert. You want to know anything about Medicare? I can bring you that information, right? Now we have the resources. And I think that's really what we're referring to here is we are recognized as the experts in the Medicare space. Correct. Here in the region, right? And we're offering those services out to all of these different people. And in turn, we're able to actually partner with them and use their expertise. So for all the people that come to us, it's actually a win-win, right? Because if they need financial planning, tax preparation, if they have legal questions, right, we have the partnerships, but we're going to continue to do what we do best, which is Medicare, ACA, bridge coverage, things of that nature.
Yeah, I mean, healthcare is enough to wrap your head around, right?
Yeah.
And again, doing this as long as we have, being on the radio, getting information out to the consumers, and making it engaging enough to where you can listen through it. We know it's a challenge a lot of the time. But again, we can't really work outside of our scope of expertise because of all of the oversight that we have on us in our industry. So we really want to be masters in what we do and rely on the experts outside of our building that they can offer, again, their expertise to the people who need it that we come across. I mean, for the sheer number of people that we're helping on an annual basis, it is great to be able to service them on the Medicare or healthcare space, right? They have penny questions, we can assist with that. Anything individual healthcare related, we're good.
Yeah.
But there comes other challenges related to planning in your business affairs, again, with your taxes, everything. Yeah. And there are ways that you can get really good advice and expertise and a teammate, a trusted resource to work alongside you that we properly vet as well. We're not working with some fly-by-night. We're working with esteemed, highest of their industry to provide a lot of these resources. And again, with their clientele, we're getting in front of a lot of them to make sure that they're educated on Medicare and all the changes. Because a lot of the times, Lance, and this is where I think we found the most impact this year. I say it all the time, 70% of people who are 70 years of age and older do not compare their Medicare plan, meaning that they're likely throwing away good money on really lackluster coverage.
Right.
So what we're able to do a lot of time is enhance benefits, lower out-of-pocket costs, both in premium and co-pays and whatever else you need to pay out of pocket, which is making a far more dignified retirement for the clientele we're coming across.
No, absolutely. So that education piece is really stayed at the forefront of what we're focusing on seminars, radio, webinar, community connect, the partnerships, all of that. But not to be lost is the experience,
For
right?
sure.
You know, it's one thing to educate people, and I think that is super, super important. But while we're educating them, we want them to have an experience that is unlike anything else, right? And a lot of times we hear this out in the industry as customer service, right? You know, and again, we really believe in that, but we're looking for people from the moment they pick up the phone and call us, or they go to the website and they have a question on our chat feature or schedule through the website. No matter how they connect with us, we want them to have a top-notch experience. So one of the things that we've been building out over the last year has been our client experience department, right? And again, I go back a lot to what it used to be like for me to be in the field. And I loved meeting new people. I loved educating them, as we just talked about, walking them through the process. But we want to make sure that when challenges arise, because they're going to, right? People's health changes. We're dealing with a government program. We're dealing with insurance companies. I'd love to sit in this seat right now and everybody listening saying, listen, you know what? Call us. You're never going to have a problem. I would love to be able to pitch that to you, but that's just not reality. There's going to be challenges along the way. And we recognize that. That's why we started the client experience department, right? So how can people really access that or utilize that?
Well, I'm going to take one real quick step backwards. And the reason why is because from the moment you engage with MediConnect, you're talking to a live person. So when you call our 888 number, you go to the chat feature, you're likely talking to Lance or Corey or someone else on our team. You're talking to a real person immediately.
No bots here.
No prompts you have to press, not one for English, two for Spanish, or this department, that department. You're talking to a live person right away, which is unique to the industry from the word go. Then after that, you have to realize that as much as we want to plan and foresee for the near future related to how your plan is going to work, health challenges may happen during the year. You may get a new prescription that we didn't plan on when you were picking your plan. And now we have to kind of pivot and find out how we can get this prescription covered more affordability. Or you have a procedure upcoming and you're worried about the cost related to that. All of these things that we're talking about, there's no timetable on when that's going to take place, right? So you need to know that you have a team that you can lean on for when these challenges occur. And I think that that's probably one of the best parts of working here at MediConnect is knowing that, yes, we have a team that can help enroll and answer questions and break down plans for you, but then you also have a team behind them to really help keep things on track as you go through retirement so that you're not caught off guard with anything, because a surprise in your retirement is far more costly usually than a surprise during your working years.
Yeah, we got a great team of benefits executives.
Correct.
They're the ones that sit down across the table from you and continue the education process. They walk you through the sign up to Medicare, the sign up for your private insurance, but then you've got a team behind them that's creating a second to none experience as the challenges rise. And we've got a great group of people there that are really committed to seeing that come forth. And we're seeing, listen, the proof is in the pudding, right? I can't believe it. Just had our 700th five-star review, came through a day or two ago. Just unbelievable, the response. And as in the seat that I sit now, the thing that I love most when I see the Google reviews is it's not one name. It's all of our different people, and it's identifying the consistencies. They were patient. They took the time to answer my questions. They didn't rush me. They didn't pressure me. So what we're trying to develop when we have all of our conversations about an experience is being borne out. And I love that. And I think that really leads into the last thing we wanted to talk about is we're kind of relaunching here today and getting more content out is we're all about the easy button. Right. Like, we feel like when people move towards retirement, that it shouldn't be complicated, that it shouldn't be difficult, that they should be able to enjoy their retirement. They've never had to be the ones that were actually figuring out their health care. So we kind of, in a way, we do want to take the place of their HR department, if you will, and be that point of impact. So if you can, just for a minute, talk about how we make Medicare itself easy.
Well, that's a subject I love to cover because
I figured I was teeing you up with that one.
And the reason why is, we don't want to dazzle anybody with lingo, jargon, that we know inside the industry, but means nothing to the everyday consumer, right? So as I like to put it, I say it on the radio all the time. I say it in our seminars all the time, like, and it makes people laugh, but it's also true. We want to put Medicare to third grade level.
Yeah.
First off, I'm very fluent in third grade. Like that's my language. Like I'm good there, right? But beyond that, again, if you're able to simplify a complex subject matter like Medicare, I mean, folks, when you become eligible, the information that you get that hits your mailbox, all the phone calls you get and everything, reading through it, and I've been involved in this for 15 years now, there are still sometimes I'm like, what in the heck are they talking about on this mail piece? I don't quite understand even what they're trying to sell me if I were on Medicare. Yeah. At MediConnect, it is a far different experience because, again, you talked about the patients and everything, but in our Google reviews, you also see the words borne out. It was easy, simple. And that is really, again, at the DNA of MediConnect, what we're trying to abide by, because it is something that can very easily overwhelm and stress you, especially if you don't know what you're doing. And yet here we are, no cost ever for any of our services. If you have a question about what your medication is going to cost and you're not a client of MediConnect, we don't care. We still want to hear from you.
Right.
We want to help in every way that we possibly can, because if we put good information in the hands of enough people who need it, I don't know, it just kind of has shown it's working, right?
Yeah.
So Medicare Simplified is putting it at a level that everybody, or as you like to say, putting the cookies on a lower shelf.
Yep.
So that everybody can reach the information and make a great decision that they can have confidence in and not have to worry about day after day.
Yeah. I mean, I've long been a believer, and not just the last 5 or 10 years, but for a long time, the most intelligent people on a subject are not the ones that can speak the smartest about it. Right. A lot of times we think, hey, if we can really butter up the words that like it's, you know, that person's really smart and intelligent. I think the most intelligent people on any subject are the ones that can talk simply about it. If you can take something complex and break it down into the most simplest terms, that's when you are really an expert on a subject. So that's how we approach all of this. And yeah, my mom always used to say, put the cookies on the lower shelf where everyone could grab them. And I sure appreciated that as being the youngest of 9 kids. I love being able to reach the cookie jar. So that was very, very good. And one other thing I think as we close up today that is important to bring to light is not only are we simplifying the education process of Medicare and making it easier, but this year we went through a complete overhaul of our website, which was desperately needed, right? Can I get an amen in the house?
Oh, big time amen.
You're getting spiritual right now, aren't you? Yeah, let's go.
About to jump up and start clapping and dancing because it was, it was very much needed from that perspective, because we were rolling with the same one that we had when MediConnect was born, right?
Yes.
And it served its purpose, you know, it got our name out there and everything, but now the features that are involved inside of our website to make it easier to connect with us. And again, just throw a passing question by us, or, hey, I need to schedule an appointment because I need help. Whatever your level of need is, we're here to catch you.
Yeah. I had a lady actually go to our website a week or 2 ago, clicked on the chat button and said, I'm really lost. I have no idea what to do. Her and I, we had like a 3-minute conversation. Don't worry. I know this is overwhelming. We're going to take care of it. Within 3 minutes, we had her scheduled for an appointment. One of our advisors already met with her, got her signed up for Medicare, went over the options, right? So there's just an ease. People can now literally go to our website and they can view content as we're talking about it. If they miss a segment, they can go find that. If they want to schedule their own appointment, they can choose to come to our office. They can have us come to their home. They can do it over the phone, right? Like, we're in a situation now where we're moving with how society is moving. And I love that, because again, I think it's not only making the subject simplified, but making the access to it simple as well. And that's what we've really been focusing on.
Yeah. And okay, great point there. And I want to tie that all together with,
let's put a bow on it, baby.
People get their red, white, and blue card and they're like, what do I do?
Yeah.
And oftentimes the phone call they make is to the insurance company that's on their, you know, their group health coverage that they have in their wallet right now. And they think that this is the simplified, most, you know, pain-free way to engage in Medicare. It's okay, they covered me during my working years. I'm just going to call them. They're going to tell me what to do. But what I've come to find, especially in working with Community Connect, why that doesn't work is going straight to the carrier. They're not going to be able to break it down for you on an individual basis. Number one, do you even need to get on Medicare yet?
Right.
Secondarily, do you qualify for assistance programs that may be available to you that are right at your fingertips, but they don't go through that process of helping you through that? Again, we want to be the go-between because we are independent. We work with all of the carriers. We say that time and time again. Every major carrier in Western Pennsylvania and Central Pennsylvania, we have a working contract with them. We can offer them. Right. But we're going to help you approach this process a lot easier because, again, I feel very passionately that most people just say, okay, I got my information. What do I do now? Yeah. But if you take that need and put it into the wrong hands, big mistakes can happen. That's why we have the client experience department. That's why we have the highest trained benefits executives in the industry to make sure that mistakes like that don't happen for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So we appreciate everyone taking the time to watch. I literally could talk about this all day, right? Like we're just scratching the surface. But if you're listening today, you have questions about your Medicare, you can give us a call, 888-818-6334. You can go to the website that we were just talking about, MediConnectInsurance.com. We'll walk you through the entire process. We will simplify this, make it easy, and let you enjoy your retirement and have confidence at the same time about your health care.
Yeah, let's do this again soon. This was fun. We don't use this room enough.
Let's go.